When we talk about recovering from addiction, our minds usually jump to therapy, support groups, sheer willpower. But what if one of the most powerful tools in that fight is actually found right on your dinner plate? Today, we're going to dig into the real science behind how the right food can literally help rebuild a brain that's healing from addiction.
Okay, so let's just start with this big question. We tend to think of addiction as this battle of the mind, right? A test of pure psychological strength. But what if that's only half the story? What if the brain is physically missing the actual raw materials it needs to even begin fighting back?
See, that's the thing. Recovery isn't just about stopping a certain behavior. It's a full-on biological construction project. It's about giving your body, and especially your brain, the specific building blocks they desperately need to heal and find their balance again. Now, let's be totally clear. Things like therapy and social support are absolutely 100% essential pillars of recovery. No doubt about it. But what we're going to focus on today is that foundational piece that can make all that other hard work way more effective, the biology of healing itself.
And listen, this isn't just some new age hunch. The research is pretty clear on this. Problematic substance use and poor nutrition, they're locked in this nasty feedback loop, where each one just makes the other one worse. So if you want to break the cycle of addiction, you have to address the cycle of malnutrition that's fueling it.
So, how does this even happen? Well, you can think of it like this. Addiction launches a two-front attack on your body. First, it just messes up normal eating habits. But second, and maybe more importantly, it wages a direct war on the very system that's designed to nourish you in the first place. And it all starts in the gut. Substances like alcohol and heroin can do some serious damage to that delicate inner lining of your intestines. Imagine it like somebody went in and just sabotaged a factory floor. So you could be eating all the right stuff, but the factory is too broken to actually use any of the raw materials coming in.
And this just kicks off a really vicious downward spiral. The gut gets damaged, right? So it can't absorb key nutrients. Then the brain, which is now totally starved of these materials, can't regulate your mood or even function properly. And that leads to even more intense cravings and emotional instability, which of course makes it so much harder to resist the substance. It really shows you, a healthy gut is the foundation for a healthy brain.
So the big question is, how do we break this cycle and start rebuilding? Well, it all starts with the absolute fundamentals, amino acids. These are literally the primary building blocks your brain uses to create the chemicals that control how you think and feel every single moment. And this brings us to this big word, neurotransmitters. The easiest way to think of them is like the brain's alphabet. It uses these chemical letters to spell out words like calm, energy, focus, and happiness. If you don't have the right letters, which are the amino acids you get from protein, your brain just can't write those sentences. It's as simple as that. Let's look at two key examples just to make this super clear. On one hand, you've got an amino acid called tyrosine. Your brain uses that to make dopamine and adrenaline, the chemicals for energy, drive, and feeling alert. Then on the other hand, you have tryptophan. That's the precursor to serotonin, the chemical that gives you a sense of calm, stabilizes your mood, and helps you sleep. Substance use just throws a wrench into the processing of both.
And the best part is, we can get these building blocks directly from our food. For that calming serotonin boost. From tryptophan, you can think of things like turkey, yep, the Thanksgiving sleepiness is real, milk, bananas, and even sunflower seeds. It's a really simple way to start that rebuilding process right from your plate.
But it's not just about amino acids. The brain needs a whole support system to really heal. It needs a repair crew and it needs a security detail. And that's where a whole bunch of other nutrients come into the picture. Think of essential fats like the omega-3s you hear about as the brain's dedicated repair crew. They literally form the flexible outer layer of our brain cells, and that layer is critical for sending and receiving messages clearly. If that structure is damaged, the signals just get all scrambled. In fact, some studies have shown that increasing these fats can actually help lower relapse rates. Pretty incredible. Now, if you really want to see just how critical one single nutrient can be, well, let's look at a really sobering example. There's a devastating condition called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, which can happen with chronic alcohol abuse. It causes severe, often permanent memory loss.
So what causes this terrifying condition? You think it's some complex cocktail of chemical damage, right? Nope. It's caused by a severe deficiency of just one vitamin. Vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. That's it. One single missing piece of the puzzle. can lead to irreversible damage.
And that is exactly why a full protection detail is so important. You've got the whole B vitamin complex, which is essential for general brain performance. Then you have vitamins A, C, and E, plus minerals like zinc. Together, they form this antioxidant network that protects your brain cells from damage. And this is extra crucial because, believe it or not, the brain has pretty low natural defenses on its own.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. We've seen the problem, the way addiction starves the brain, and we've looked at the biological solution. The big takeaway here is that food isn't just fuel, it's a powerful, practical tool you can use for recovery. But, and this is super important, we are not talking about a magic cure here. Nutrition is a powerful supplement to recovery, not a substitute for it. It works with therapy, exercise, and support systems by giving your brain the actual physical resources it needs to do all that hard work and heal itself. So what's in this nutritional toolkit? Well, it's pretty straightforward. We're talking about good quality proteins like lean meat and fish to get those amino acids. Tons of fresh fruits and vegetables for those antioxidants. Essential fats from things like oily fish and nuts. Steady energy from low glycemic carbs like pulses. And of course, plenty of water. It's a simple but really powerful strategy.
You know, all of this leads to a really fascinating question about the future of recovery. As we learn more and more about the brain's biology, could we see a day where a recovery plan includes a prescription not just from a therapist, but from a nutritionist too? It's a powerful thought about what it really means to heal from the inside out.